Yeah, welcome back, everyone. I'm delighted to continue our exploration of verse 22. Verse about non-duality. And for our first meditation, I want to bring the first line into the meditation. Whatever arises in experience is your own mind. Yeah, so whatever. So I invite you right now in this moment to make this move. So whatever, yeah, to open to your experience as it is, to the sensations in your body, to what you see, to what you hear, to your mood. Is the energy in your body rather calm, or is there restlessness? So what do you bring with you? How's your day today? What do you see? And you don't need to manipulate your attention, just become aware of what comes. Yeah? So what you're aware, just noticing. And then Jing Milimpa says, whatever you experience right now, whatever arises in experience is your own mind. Is your own mind. And for this meditation to be maybe a little powerful, it could be helpful to let go of the scientific materialistic paradigm, a kind of outdated paradigm, which said that matter, space, and time is fixed and is like the primary substance from which this moment is made. And there is a lot of also experiential evidence that is a distortion of reality. And also in science, more and more the insight arises that the primary substance from where what everything is made of, what this experience is made of, is consciousness. And it's really helpful to, if you are scientific minded, to read people like Alan Wallace or Donald Hoffman, so different scientists who invite us into the insight that actually matter is not the primary substance of this moment. That if we would dig deep, like they do in quantum physics, what we would find is consciousness. So before the revolution of quantum physics, the view was that there is an objective universe out there which is made from matter. And the experiments of quantum physics start to question that. And maybe for now, for this meditation, we can make a bit of a leap into that view that actually whatever we experience, as Tongmei Sampo says, is in mind, is consciousness. Another thing before our first meditation is one of the really helpful resources to support an insight into what Jing Milimpa calls mind itself, unconditioned consciousness, unconditioned awareness, Buddha nature. Yesterday I called it our inner beauty. Maybe we can stick a bit with that word. So if I use inner beauty, what I mean here is the emptiness of your mind, Buddha nature. Yeah? So inner beauty. And according to the Mahayana teachings, that inner beauty is innate, indestructible. And as Lama Yeshe says in his book on Tantra, our spiritual practice is about uncovering this inner beauty for the sake of all. Yeah. So more you rest in your inner beauty, more you see the inner beauty of other people. So in the Tibetan tradition, but not only in the Tibetan tradition, one of the resources which we can rely upon on that uncovery of our inner beauty is bhakti, devotion. And in the Tibetan tradition, that practice of bhakti is channelized into the relationship to a guru, to a lama. So for our next meditation, I always did that, but I will invite the presence of the guru, the lama, and if you have a relationship like this, then that's the way to go. But for those of you who have not yet or will never in this life develop a bond to a qualified master, what your possibility here is to feel into your heart, what is it for you where you can surrender to, yeah, where you can let go. And you here, I mean the little you, the little me, the egoic structure, the narrative self. So for some people, that could be something like Gaia or Jesus or the presence of God, or it's like a sense that there is something bigger than the mini-me. Something where the natural response is you go down onto your knees and you request. Yeah? So one of the practices in Guru Yoga, in Guru devotion, is to request. Yeah? So it is a practice of going down. Like in the Tibetan tradition, we even throw ourselves on the floor. Yeah? So really as a mudra, as a symbol of that surrendering, giving yourself away into that which is bigger than you. Here, the little you. So where in your life, I mean, it has to be genuine. Yeah. So where in your life do you have that? Where in your life did you have, or do you have that kind of sense of awe, that kind of, yeah, surrendering all your fears, surrendering all your struggle with a complete open heart, please. Yeah, so it's like, please, I know that you are there, residing indestructibly in my being, in my heart, whatever that is for you, whatever words you would use. Love could be a capital letter love could be a word. And then just a yearning. Yeah, so allow a yearning to arise. Please, I know that you are there. Reveal yourself, show me your face, which is your own true face. Yeah. In the Tibetan tradition, this is also sometimes called asking for blessings. Please bless my mental continuum. Please bless my heart. I can't do this on my own. From the perspective, of the narrative self. You can do it, you can't do it. It's nothing you do, something you receive. But to receive, we need to open. To receive the presence of the Lama, the Guru, the Dhammakaya, we need to open. It's not something we can figure out. It's just like letting go of your own agenda. Please make me your servant. Yeah, Franciscus of Assisi. Make me a servant of your peace. Make me a servant of your love. So that's that spirit of that longing, of that yearning. So in Guru Yoga, it's not about the person. I mean, every guru has also his personality and his habit and the way he or she manifests. What we devote ourselves in Guru devotion is mind itself, is the Dhammakaya. And the person of the Guru is a kind of just a window, a door for us. And it's just not happening for everyone that we open that door, or we open that window in the relationship to a specific person. So it can be also on a more symbolic level and on a really direct level, in intuition in your heart, which you might know even from childhood. Something which opened maybe in nature or in power places or in different situations in your life, when you gave birth or when you witnessed death. So this moments where the divine is undisputable present. Yeah. Is it necessary for the divine to open so that you can recognize your own face? You can recognize your own inner beauty. The Guru is a kind of mirror reflecting your beauty back to yourself, so that you can identify that beauty within you. Is it necessary to have a personal guru? I don't believe so. It seems to be very helpful, and for me it works. But I know many people personally, or when I research different traditions, who have a genuine experience of mind itself, of the inner beauty which we share, without them having a personal guru. And I know many people who do kind of the right thing with the guru devotion and all the right prayers and all the formalities, but nothing happens. It's just the goody Buddhists. They do all the right thing, and it's like the deeper you bow, deeper your guru devotion is, or something like that. It's all bullshit. It's something very personal. It's not something which necessarily shows on the outside. It's something inside. And then when you connect with the bhakti within you, the outer form might take different gestures and different things. Maybe not the Tibetan style, but the New York style of showing devotion. Yeah. Has nothing to do how deep you bow. So let's slide into kind of more meditative awareness. And yeah, part of that as a kind of entry protocol, sometimes it's helpful to adjust your posture a bit. And it's really like a sliding, so there's not this moment where you suddenly, okay, now the meditation starts. It's really, you take it easy. It's just like, it's nothing, it's not a special event. And then if you like, you can close your eyes. Or if you keep your eyes open and your gaze is relaxed without particularly looking at something. And then I like to remind you of what I said yesterday, the joy of being part of this Sangha here in this virtual temple, but also in a wider sense, the joy of being part of this field of practitioners who right now with us sit in the presence of the divine, sit in the presence of the Dharmakaya. And then you allow this shift to happen from the head into the body, from doing to being, shifting gear, and noticing how the chair or the floor carries you. And then the breath might be an ally in this shift. Although with the in-breaths sliding or dropping into the trunk of your body. Or embracing as if awareness and your breath combined is like a hug, an inner hug. Welcoming, as if you're welcoming a friend. And here we welcome ourselves as friend, exactly as we are. You unhook from the thinking, from the conceptual level of your mind. You don't emphasize the inner dialogue or the mental images, but you emphasize the spacious aliveness of your body. Without disconnecting from your surroundings, from the sounds, from this voice, from the presence of the group. So you don't disconnect, but you emphasize, you bring a bit into the foreground, the aliveness in your body, the energy of your body. If you like, you can take a couple of deeper in and out breaths. And with the out breath, it might be possible to soften in your shoulders and in your belly, as if something is being letting go of. Thoughts are recognized as thoughts. It's okay, but they are recognized. And only when you find yourself entangled in the stream of thinking, in the inner dialogue, you'll make this very gentle shift, very friendly. It's like a dropping back into your hands, your belly, or any other pleasant or unpleasant experience in your body. Relaxing your face, your jaw, shoulders, and belly. Whatever arises in your experience is your own mind. Another way to express the same is this: your experience is like a dream. Appearances within consciousness, within awareness. A dream arises in the consciousness of the dreamer. In this moment, as it is, arises in mind itself, in awareness, in knowingness, in consciousness. And we reduce our suffering by allowing this moment to be as it is, because suffering comes from resistance. So as soon as we relax the grasping, as soon as there is a deeper yes to what is, less you suffer. So whatever you experience, whatever arises in your experience is your own mind. And in this space of awareness, which we share, we invite the presence of the Guru, of the Lama, the presence of the divine. And for some people, it's helpful to have a mental image of the Buddha, of Tara. And it is an experience of the morning sun arising, the great eastern sun, which is a symbol of bodhicitta, after a night of terror, after a cold, lonely night. And you are bathing outside in the morning sun with your whole body, from the toes to the top of your head. You feel the loving gaze, the smile. If you're connecting with a master, with a person, or with a few people, you can hear them, you can smell them, you can feel their presence, their laughter, their joy. And while you're doing this, you stay aware that the beauty which is there coming towards you, which you receive, the kindness which you receive, is a reflection of your own inner beauty. So one of the practices here would be to prostrate or to fold your hands and try to get a sense of these mudras. We don't need to do them. They are outer expressions of an inner longing, of an inner surrender. Imagine if the Dalai Lama or Jesus steps into the room, it would be very natural to fold your hands or to stand up or to make a prostration. So it is that feeling of yearning, longing, of melting, surrendering. And so really relaxing and opening into the sun, into the morning sun. And then with the in-breath, you can bring that into your whole body. The loving gaze, the smile. Feel how it is to be completely seen and completely loved, unconditionally, as you are. And if there's something in your experience which is contracted or hurts, you just show it, you just hold it into the light. So whatever arises within you, confusion, tiredness, restlessness, you give it away into the hands of essence love, of the Dharmakaya, of the Guru. And sometimes a prayer can support this gesture. Please bless my mental continuum. I know that you are here in the center of my being, surrounding and pervading my experience. I surrender. I offer you my body, speech, and mind. Make me an instrument of your love, of your peace. I give up. So it is a receiving. Receiving of the blessings. As Jesus said, when you knock, the door will be open. But we need to do the knocking, the requesting. I surrender to your love, and I'm ready to receive your love. And with the in-breath, breathing in that blessings, that light, and with the out-breath sharing into the group and beyond. Meeting each other from heart to heart. And then you rest. In spaciousness, which is in the nature of love, the cognizant empty presence. Undescribable, ungraspable. Resting in the midst of your experience. Resting in the sense of completion. There's no further to go. There's nothing you need when you're here with us. There's a sense of wholeness. Within which whatever you experience comes and goes effortlessly. Resting with a heart like the sky. Then the outer guru, the symbols of your own inner beauty, they dissolve. And the essence stream into your whole body, into every cell of your body, from the toes to the top of your head. Every cell opens like a flower, a beautiful flower. Your whole being is like a beautiful flower opening in the morning sun. And then from the inner guru, from your inner beauty, from your innate capacity, your innate potential, you radiate blessings through the pores of your body, into your surroundings, into your group, into this group, into your life. And you feel how through your hands, through your voice, through your eyes, your inner beauty shines. And you are the source of peace in your life. As if you borrow the eyes of the Dalai Lama and the hands of Jesus and the mouth of Tara. And you feel that. And then you take your time to slide out of this meditation. Keep some connection with your heart. Notice that also your looking comes from your heart. And sometimes it's possible in a moment like this to actually acknowledge the beauty around you, the colors, the shapes. And then if you, at one point, look at the screen, you can see the beauty of the people. There can be a sense, like a glimpse of being in love with everyone. Having that tender sense of closeness, but also awe. So in this meditation, we used the basic structure from the traditional practice of Guru Yoga, which is what is called the front generation. So you invite the presence of the Dhammakaya in form of a symbol. It doesn't need to be a symbol, but for us as human beings, it's easier to relate to something which we personify, or at least put into a symbol, like the sun was in this meditation, but it can be also other symbols, or the symbol of the Dalai Lama or the Lama Zopa, or also a few people. And then we start a bit of a dialogue with that. And while we are doing this, we stay aware that we are being in a dialogue with our own inner beauty. The guru is always a projection of your inner beauty. So what looks at you through the eyes of the guru, through the radiance of the guru, that's mind itself. That's your inner beauty. You empower in the practice of a personal guru devotion, you empower someone else to be that for you. And you do that wisely. You can do it with your dog, because also your dog has that potential, Dalai Lama potential. But sometimes it's more powerful to make that bond with a qualified master. And so part of that dialogue is request. Yeah? So this is really so important and so powerful. I mean, that's not only in the Tibetan tradition, also in the Christian tradition, and in the many different traditions which are called Hinduism or whatever. So the practice of bhakti, the practice of devotion. And that's such a beautiful practice also for daily life. Using music, for example. You can. I love to listen to music, kirtan music, like Krishna Das or Snatam Kaur, or there's so many. But I transform them into a Tibetan Buddhist guru yoga. It doesn't matter what the words are, but I think it's for many people, Sanskrit just touches my heart more than the Tibetan language. So these Sanskrit kirtans, with dance also, with movement. Yeah? So you move your guru devotion. You move that feelings in dance, in singing together. It's a pity that in the Tibetan tradition we have not managed yet to do something similar. I mean, for Western people, yeah? It's quite difficult with the guru puja and things like that to get the same kind of joyous celebration of the divine. Gospel, for example, it's beautiful. So in daily life, even love songs, I mean, kind of some stupid love songs you like to listen to, just transform it into, so when there's the longing for love and the longing for the one, I can't live with you, without you, or stuff like that, just transform it, use the melody and use these words to connect with that natural capacity for us to surrender to love. Yoga practice, any kind of body practice can be a part of, can be transformed into bhakti, into guru yoga. Because on a deep level of guru devotion, we start to experience everything which is happening in our life as a manifestation of the Dhammakaya. Like even, like the earth we are sitting on right now, you are held. Right now you are held. There can be like a trust, like you can just You can just sit on the earth, and she's not saying, no, I don't like you today. You are not beautiful enough, or I don't like your mood, or something like that, or you did something stupid yesterday, so don't sit on me. No, we can just always sit on her, and she always helps us up. And in the deeper level of guru devotion, that's Lama Sopa, that's the Lama, that being helped. The sun, the air we breathe. There's a song by Snatam Kaur where she says, you are in the air I breathe. Yeah, so you are in the air I breathe. So that's like Lama Sopa is in the air I breathe. Then part of that practice is then to also include the challenging aspects of our life, challenging feelings, challenging people, challenging situations, to see them as the presence of the Guru, of the presence of the Lama, as a manifestation of the divine intelligence, which wants to break you open to the divine. I'm sorry, I'm mixing a bit Christian terminology with Buddhist terminology, but you can always translate it differently. Divine is not really necessary like a Buddhist term. So it's good not to be hung up too much on words. I'm just trying to describe something with different words, which is actually a direct experience. It's not about the words. It's like what's in the package of the words. So I think there was one question. Stephan, thank you so much for your teachings. I know you addressed this to some extent yesterday, but would you talk some more about this today, please? All the ultimate bodhicitta lojong slogans, but especially 5, rest in the nature of alaya, the essence. So if the self is empty and all other phenomena empty, and even the mind that dreams up these things is empty, and even these 3 realizations themselves are empty, then does any consciousness at any level at all exist beyond even the most subtle level of individual ego consciousness? That's a debate in the Tibetan tradition. Yeah. So in the Gelug tradition, they are very clear in this. So for them, the Buddha nature is the emptiness of your mind, and also consciousness is empty of being something from its own side. So there is nothing findable there. There's, so if in the beginning, I said something like, so if we dig here, if we deconstruct this experience, what we will find is consciousness. But that's more mind-only school, yeah. Or there is a sub-school of the Prasankika school, which also hold a bit that there is something there, yeah. So there is something findable there, and that findable there is called Rigpa, or mind and self, or the nature of your mind. So I confess, I'm a Yogacara practitioner, mind-only practitioner, because that's how my experience is. And So what I experience when I follow an analytical meditation on emptiness, like looking for the inherent solid self and not finding it, when I come to that place of resting, what I feel is divine presence. I can't find a better word for it. What I find, what I experience is infinite, boundaryless, centerless essence love. The experience is for me that there is something. I can't describe what that something is. It's not like romantic love. It's not like an emotion. It's not an experience in that way. But there is. It feels like that, and that seems to be the case for many Tibetan practitioners who go into the direction of Mahamudra practice, who then, even if they philosophically say everything is empty, when they emerge from that experience of unity, from that experience of non-duality, they describe something. It's not something. It's a completely different category. So it's neither nothing nor is it something. But they use kind of positive words, which a Geluk practitioner wouldn't do, or like at least on the philosophical level. So they use, also Lama Yeshe, I have quoted that before in his book on Tantra, where he says that the deepest nature of your mind is in the nature of love. So that sounds a bit that he's describing something there. Yeah, it's in the nature of love. It's good that he doesn't say is love, because then it becomes too much something where we have ideas about. But also when we use descriptions of the Mahamudra tradition, like spacious, cognizant nature of mind, I remember Lama Zopa saying, in a debate between the Yogacara and the mind only or Shitamatrin view and the Prasankika Madhyamika view, he said, different philosophies, same experience. Yeah. Then this is maybe a bit of a personal preferences, how when we emerge from that experience, what is called in the Geluk tradition, the emptiness of your mind, Buddha nature, the emptiness of your mind, or mind itself, when we emerge of that experience, and the experience itself is undescribable, ungraspable, but then we try to share that. We try to, because this is, it comes with the experience that you want to share it, because this is it. It's like, it's like you have invented like water, which never ceases and it's never polluted. So you want to share it with thirsty people. Yeah, it's like, it's natural. So you want to share it. And how do you share it? Through words. And then people don't get it. Yeah. So your explanations become more complex. You develop a whole philosophy. You debate. You go into all these kinds of details. And maybe then the philosophy you develop based on that experience goes into the Yogacara practice, yeah, starting to describe this experience in positive terms. Or out of certain reasons, maybe because you have been trained in that philosophy, you go into the emptiness of the Prasankikya Madhyamika. But both philosophies was attempt of people who have had that experience to share that experience with others. Now the problem comes when we get attached to these philosophies and we think that we can think our way to that experience through these philosophies. And we become fundamentalistic. And we kind of feel, the Yogacara, it's stupid, you know, they or like the Prasankikya Madhyamikas, they negate too much. And then we forget that actually these philosophies developed through the attempt from the direct experience, attempting to share that experience with others. And then sometimes only the philosophies are left, and people spend their whole life with studying the philosophies and debating and forgetting that within their own philosophies, it says it's undescribable, ungraspable, it's beyond the conceptual mind, it is a direct experience. And then they discuss that, and they write books about, you know, that it is indescribable and ungraspable. What does it mean, and what are the pitfalls of it, and what does it not mean? And the books become bigger and bigger and bigger, and the original experience, which is so immediate, so simple, so effortless, gets lost in these philosophies. And yes, there is the studies of these philosophies is a provisional step. Yeah, it is. Is it necessary to go through this through these philosophies? No. Because I mean, there's plenty of examples, even in the Tibetan tradition, of people. Of course, then the Tibetans say, yeah, they have studied that in their previous lives. Yeah, but I don't believe that. No, this is something which is available, independent of our philosophies, independent of the culture we live in. And this, let's call it our shared inner beauty, is shining through in any generation, on all continents, since I don't know when it started to shine through. Yeah, thousands and thousands of years. And philosophies are supposed to be helpful, but they can be also huge obstacles. They can be also a huge obstacle. We get lost in them. Yeah, so is there any other question?
Elizabeth has a question, and I think there was a hand up. Not sure who the hand up was. Yeah, Emma has her hand up. And Elizabeth has a question in the chat, Stephan.
Yeah, I'm just reading it. Based on the assumption that all is empty from its own side, including the spark of consciousness that moves from one lifetime to another, is it the case, nevertheless, that each strand of very subtle mental continuum remains unique in that it is imbued with the specific karmic imprints of countless past lifetimes? There seems to be a contradiction here. Yes. There is a contradiction there. So it doesn't seem, there is a contradiction. So yeah, it's interesting when Gelug Lamas use in their teachings on karma, they actually use the teachings of the Yogacara school, of the Shittamatra school. You know, the Alaya Vijnaya is the kind of something where the seeds are set, and then the seeds or the potentials, the energetical residues of actions, they travel in the Alaya Vijnaya into the next life. And that's a teaching of the Yogacara. So that they kind of jump, you know, like I'm going to share with the world if I figured out this question. Actually, I think I came to the right now. I'm at one point I settled with the conclusion that I can't answer that question on the conceptual level. Yeah. So when we move into this kind of questions, what we will always meet is paradox. Yeah. And part of our part of the capacity as a kind of a bit more mature practitioners, what we need to develop is a capacity to hold paradoxes. Unless we want to be very much on the surface and stay there and are happy with that, like a kind of fundamentalistic Buddhist. Yeah, so this is how it is. Karma, seed in the stream of consciousness, and the stream of consciousness goes into the next life, and we don't ask further question, and that's how we kind of settled. Yeah, so this is what is said in the texts or in a specific body of text. Yeah, because of course you can find different kinds of Buddhist philosophies and Buddhist lineages where they hold other views on this. But I think if you dig deeper, then you come to that point that you don't try to solve that cognitive dissonance of holding different statements or different views at the same time. Regarding this question, what I find helpful is the image or the metaphor of the waves in the ocean. Yeah. So if you ask some Tibetan lamas, maybe more kind of towards the Kagyu tradition and the Nyingma tradition, if you ask them, are there separate mind streams? They would say no. You can't separate mind streams from each other. There is not like a Stephan Pende Buddha in the future and Jennifer and an Emma Buddha and a Mikkel Buddha. Yeah, so there's one Dhammakaya. In the Gelug tradition, many geishas, you would ask, no, each mind stream is individual. They are separate from each other. So what I find helpful here is the metaphor of the ocean and the waves. So is a wave individual, or is it the ocean? Both. Yeah. I mean, every wave on the oceans which are moving right now they are all different, but they are also one. They are also connected. So there is that kind of this respect or this recognition. Yeah, there is some individual uniqueness here based on conditioning, based on karma. But the stuff from out of this is all made is the same. Is Dhammakaya, is the consciousness. So the wave is conceptually, you can separate one wave from the ocean. You can give it a label. Also, if you go a bit closer, then you start to, you can't find the boundaries. You can't say, oh, the wave stops here and that's where the other wave starts. You can't do that. So in the same way, when in deep meditative or in kind of glimpses of non-duality or moments where the identification with the separate solid I relaxes, you can't find your boundaries. You don't know, like, I mean, it's like even in romantic love, we can have experiences like that. We don't find, we can't say where does your partner starts or end. It's just like, and still we also separate, and that's a paradox. Yeah, the ocean wave metaphor is a beautiful metaphor, because also sometimes it's easier for us to slip into a taste or into an experience through symbols, through images, rather than going through a philosophy and trying to think this through. So that's the power of symbols. So symbols, they are kind of a condensed information which can support some people to come into a direct experience of what this symbol is symbolizing.
So Emma Markham has her hand up, Stephan.
Yes. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much. The language that you're using, especially answering the last question, I have to say is so helpful for me, because my training and background is in Gelug Buddhism, but I find myself in a Christian seminary studying mostly with Zen teachers, studying Buddhism. So bringing together the Christian language and talking about the Yogacara and Madhyamaka is really helpful for me. Thank you. I wanted to ask, you mentioned during the meditation, you briefly touched on if there are sort of difficult or negative feelings or tightness coming up to offer that, which I found really beautiful. And that's a common struggle for me, particularly in guru devotion practice, having this sense of sort of tightness and anxiety in the chest and not really understanding where it's coming from or why it's there, what to do with it. So I was just wondering if you could speak a little bit more to how to work with that.
Is the tightness you experience somehow connected with the practice of guru devotion, or is it something which is there and maybe you see a connection with other things happening in your life? Or
it seems to, so that's a question that's ongoing for me a little bit, but it's, so I don't know if the practice is sort of uncovering what's already there, or if the practice is creating something.
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So somehow, when I said in my instructions, offer this to your teacher, something happened in you. Yeah. So this is so helpful when we are listening to different teachers guiding this kind of practices, because then we get and we don't need to understand why, but a word or a phrase like this triggers some release, or something happens, a shift happens. Yeah, I'm not sure. Can you say something about the question? What is your question?
It might be more specific to myself than is
Yeah.
helpful for the group here. I don't know.
Yeah. It's for sure helpful.
But it does. I have noticed this across, doing the practice on my own with different instruction, with different sort of guided, different teachers. So there seems to be some sort of universality to it that isn't specific to, maybe some of the wording in a specific meditation can trigger something, but just, and it seems to be connected also to the opening up, like a full surrender, a full sort of vulnerability, a fear there. I can tap into some of that. And so I can see those qualities in it, but I'm just still trying to figure out how to work with that productively in the meditation.
Yes. So that's first, I think it's good to know that this is a very common experience. So I don't think I have met anyone who has not had, I mean, like people who go into bhakti, but also into the meditation on the nature of mind, the meditation on no self, the meditation on selflessness, of boundarylessness, resting in awareness. So any kind of experience of opening to that which is bigger than you, let's say it like that, is, and I've heard also Lama Zopa often talk about that, that kind of very ground basic anxiety, which is connected with the fear of death, the fear of, and death, fear of death here, fear of death is always ego death, like the fear of the death of the little I, which we are identified with. So, and in Guru devotion, I mean, Guru devotion on a deeper level is a meditation on emptiness, is a meditation on non-duality, is a meditation of deconstructing the illusion of separation. Guru yoga is union, union with the heart of the Buddha, with the heart of the Lama. And also, the narrative self with which we are identified with pretends it is on this path and really wants to have something like enlightenment. It's actually shit scared and doesn't want it, except maybe for the glorification of being like a Dharma practitioner and having the right mala or something like that. So in the beginning, the egoic structure is maybe the main force actually, which brings us into the practice. But then when the practice becomes more mature and serious, then that process, the process of selfing, this kind of loop with which we are identified, starts to get scared, because it starts to notice, oh shit, this is my end. I'm not getting enlightened. Enlightenment or liberation means the end of this process so it will resist. And the resistant patterns, one of them is fear, but it can be also tiredness or boredom or the not good enough process, or I'm not good enough for, I'm not going to figure out liberation or something like that. So all kinds of processes to keep the loop going, to keep the loop going, to keep the seeking going. Yeah, so that's another thing. The narrative self will never stop to seek, because this is how it lives. It is the seeking. So when the seeking would relax, then that kind of structure would collapse. So experiences like that, Lama Zopa says, they are good. They are a sign that we are on the right track, and it's to be expected. There's also, and sometimes they alternate, there can be also experiences of incredible joy, of really like, so much that, people even call it bliss or something like that. Yeah? But also maybe not so dramatic, just a relief, like, oh, wow, so the first kind of glimpses are like a kind of a quiet confidence starts to arise within you that liberation is actually possible. So that's the other side. So, and for some people, they go through different phases there. So if you don't have panic attacks when you meditate on emptiness, it's okay. They will come. Yeah, they will come. And if there's joy and peace in your meditation, of course, then we soak that in, and there's nothing wrong with that. So the practice is starting with, okay, this is common, this is a good sign. And the practice would be learning to how can I say that? Making that experience of resistance, anxiety, contraction a part of the meditation. And using skills we are developing in meditation, like non-grasping, non-resistance, curiosity, like if you use a word like fear, that's just the word. So you kind of, you peel away the word and you look into the energy, you become curious about what is that actually? Or maybe it's just a contraction, and then you drop the way contraction and you just become curious about it. And you stay within the witnessing, and at the same time you become more intimate with the experience. So both, you kind of go into both directions. So you stay spacious, in spacious loving awareness, and at the same time you move closer to whatever arises there. And a problem here arises when we have an idea, for example, in the practice of guru devotion, that feelings like anger or so shouldn't be there. And then that leads to repression. So actually, often in traditional practices, more ritual practices, they really support there's the trap, or there's the danger that they support our habit of suppressing our emotions. Yeah. So whatever arises in the presence of the guru within you, that's completely fine, and it's worth to be felt and explored and be curious. Oh, wow, I get really angry about my teacher when he says this and this and this, and let's look at this. I'm really curious about that. Yeah. And not, oh, I shouldn't feel that, and repressing it. So you make it part of your meditation and use whatever kind of, maybe a Vipassana style, seeing the impermanence of it, going down into the bare experience. And then this gesture of giving giving this contraction to the guru, that helps that to create that loving space. So what is important when we meditate on difficult aspects of our experience? So when trauma reveals itself in our practice, so what is important that we have the capacity to witnessing that without being overwhelmed. And when you are just on your cushion in your own space, that is sometimes very difficult. So one way to make that space of witnessing more powerful and bigger is to invite the guru, to witness with him together. Yeah, I mean, that's also the idea in psychotherapy. Because if you would feel into a traumatic experience or a hurt or whatever by yourself, it might be too much. It could be that you don't. Some people have that. Yeah, so it's not like this. For some people, they can be with their inner life without being overwhelmed by it. But many people, they can't do that. So they learned disassociation from the body, and they learned suppressing of emotions. They learned denying. They learned projection to handle these overwhelming experiences. So a practice of guru devotion or a practice of deity yoga, like relating to Tara, has that capacity, like in a psychotherapeutical setting, to increase the space of witnessing. Yeah. And then you witness it together with, and if you really trust your guru, your lama, or if you trust your psychotherapist, then you become less and less ashamed of how you feel and what is happening in your inner life. Because what is happening in your life is not your fault. It's happening because something happened to you. I mean, you're not choosing to get angry with the guru. It's some father issue maybe, or something like that. And it's not that you choose that. Yeah, it's because something happened to you. But the real guru, the true guru, will love you. And in that space, then healing can happen. The gaze of the gaze of the love here is a combination of kindness and gentleness and warmth, but also the recognition of the emptiness of that. So a contraction will be in that ideal witnessing would be met by unconditional love, but in the same time, what is also recognized that it is like a dream. It appears, and it appears as something solid, but it is actually unfindable. And that's a moment of freedom. That's a moment of liberation right there in the contraction. The contraction even doesn't need to go away anymore because it's recognized as empty, which doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It exists. But how does it exist? Merely labeled by mind. That's how it exists. Yeah, time is up. Just a short look at maybe I will continue with this next time, I think. yeah, I think I will. So just the commentary of Ken MacLeod is really very, very practical, and it's like a meditation instructions. So I really recommend to read that again and again, and while you're reading it, kind of to pause and explore, yeah, his suggestions and his questions. Yeah? So this is something. I mean, this chapter and the commentary is something to reread and reread again and again, until that the essence of this practice really sinks in, and it's just happening for you in the way he describes it. Yeah, so whatever goodness arose in our meeting, we share it with the world, with everyone. And maybe there's right now some people in your life who struggle maybe you want to invite them. They are welcome here in our in our Mahayana Gompa, so you can feel their presence, and you can feel how they are not separate from you, and how your inner beauty is such a gift in their life. Yeah. So just your presence. And because we are not separate from each other, every movement of your heart matters to them. It makes a difference to them because they are here with you. Yeah. And also, let's remember when we dedicate to other people that they also are beautiful. I mean, they also have that inner beauty, indestructible, even if the surface is sick or old or is dying. What they really are is deeper than all of that. Everyone is safe already. And yeah, may people in power wake up to the inner beauty. All the people in power, may they wake up to the inner beauty. And may people everywhere look after each other. Also the animals. So may people everywhere look after the animals.